All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first I'm going to go to the customer portal. Ian did drop the link to this in the chat. And I think if everyone could try to log in just to make sure, it should be connected through your email. So there shouldn't be an additional password or username that you'll use. And we just want to make sure that's working for everyone. So I'll pause for a second to see if anyone has trouble with that. Okay, I'm going to keep going with the kind of the tour of this, but if you do have an issue or you can't access the link at any time, please let us know. So when you log in, you will see the Welcome to Your Self-Service portal. There will be the top 10 requests. And if there's, sorry, is there a question?
Chief, did you have a question?
Okay, I think that she didn't mean to unmute herself there, so I'll keep going. So like I said, these are the top 10 most requested services that are going to be right here. If your request is not one of those 10, you can go to the service catalog. You can do that from up here at the top or from this button right here. Other things to note on this main homepage is the announcements. This will be where we'll put like upcoming events, things like that. You can search self-based knowledge articles here as well. And if you scroll down, this is where we'll also have major instances. Hopefully we don't have to use this box too much. Other notifications, and then the service desk contact information and hours. And you can also access these same things down here at the bottom. So now I'll take you guys to the service catalog and kind of just explain that a little bit. Again, you can reach that from that button or from the top or the bottom. And here you'll find a list of everything that IMP offers. There's some main categories, and then as you click through, you get more and more refined. If you don't know where your request is in here, that's fine. There's a search bar up here. So for example, if you needed let's say, a printer issue, you would just type in printer, and then you can see things already drop down here, or you can search and you'll get the list of them there. There's also two other tabs up here. There's the My Items and the Knowledge Articles. My Items is where you'll find all of your service requests or incident requests, your devices that are assigned to you, and some service alerts. If you have Technology Leadership Council projects, they'll also be listed here. Again, you'll see announcements, and then recently closed requests will be here with an option to filter that with the last week, the last month, etc. So if you want to see what open service requests you have, you can go ahead and click. We're currently still testing in beta. That's why you'll see we have a ton, but this will all be cleared out before we go live. And from here, you can actually see a list of all of your open requests, easy and organized to find. So let me just click on one. So if you click on one of your service requests, you'll see a detailed description of what it was, and then the estimate response time, which is nice. And then there also will show what stage it is in. So right now, since we're in beta, they're in new. It wouldn't take this long, or once we're live, for someone to reach out to you. And then the good thing about this new system is you'll have one technician assigned to your ticket. So you'll have one point of contact, which is a nice switch up from what you guys may be experiencing now. Once that is assigned, that will be right here, and you'll see who your technician actually is. Now, for contacting and making comments on your ticket, there's a few different ways you can communicate with your technician. You can either, from the portal right here, you can add a comment. I'll say test and hit OK. And you see now that I have submitted that, it did add the comment section down below and also a history of all of them. Your technician can respond the exact same way and you can look at it the same way. Another way is also through email. So although you cannot create new requests through email, once you have a technician assigned, you can do that communication back and forth through email and it's connected, just as you guys are doing now and are used to doing. Are there
Hey,
any
so we have
questions so
a
far?
we
Yeah.
have a question in the chat. Catherine is asking, do you log into Sharewell as a user by clicking the IP help icon in all apps in Office 365, or is there a different way to access?
Yeah, so you can access it through the link that we gave you. I think it's also going to be on our homepage. And if you go to, let me pull up this other screen real quick. Sorry, my computer's being a little funny, but there will be other ways to access it. Currently, it's not one of the apps, I think, in 365. I don't know if someone else on here can answer that, if that's going to be able to be accessed through Microsoft.
That's a good question, Kevin. Right now, that button I think is meant only for INP internal staff. That's the back end of the system. We'll take a look at that and get back to you.
Before we go live, we'll make sure this link is readily available to all of you guys. Also up here, just some other things to note. You can edit your ticket. You can refresh it. You can attach images, which is nice. You can scroll through your different requests if you have more than one. And then this just changes the view and gets you back to this full list. You know, some other basic things like how many you want to see and things like that. So moving on to the other tab, we have the knowledge articles. This is where if you think that your issue is simple or something that is, you know, a simple request that's often people are asking about, we will have knowledge articles here that can be, you know, so you guys can fix it yourself. You don't need to create a ticket. So just like some examples that we have in this test, one is how to highlight the text on a page, how to send a PDF, things like that. So if you click on one of those, you'll see that there'll be a short little document of how to do something simple like that. And then you can always add a comment or like the article. And then you can also say if it resolved your issue, if there was or if this was no longer accurate or something like that, you could always let us know by the comment button there. Now what I like to do with you guys is kind of walk through the whole creating a ticket through the end, just so you guys are kind of aware. So I'm back at the home page and you can see again, these are the top 10. If yours was one of these top 10, you can just go ahead and click that. So I'll go ahead and do, let me see, maybe a print request. And when you click on one of those, it opens up the ticket. And up here, there are tabs in case, you know, you want to go back, you clicked on the wrong thing, just so you don't have to go all the way back to the service catalog. This is where you would write a detailed description. Some of the other forms are different depending on what the request is. This is a simpler one. So it just has a simple text box where you put in what you're requesting assistance on. There's also this button right up here that says submit on behalf of another user. So if you click on that, you can, if you are, it's exactly what it says. So if you are doing this for someone else, it is the option to include them. So I'll just go ahead and show you what that looks like. I'll do Ian as an example. So this is a drop down for all the names and it is a smart search. So that is nice. So once you open that, like I'll just put an Ian. I'm sure there's a lot of Ians in the city, but he's right up top, it looks like. So you can just go ahead and click on that. And then it links him to the ticket. So you don't need to memorize everyone's email or put that in. And then it just lets you know who should the email notifications go out to. Should it go out to Ian, who's the customer, me, who's the requester, or both of us? So I'll go ahead and just put both of us. And then you just submit. Once you submit, you'll see that there is a request ID. And then when you go back to my items, you would see that it was there and it would have the new status as new. I'll go ahead and do maybe a more complicated request. I'll do a GIS and data service request. So you get a different feel. So as you can see with this one, the top's still exactly the same. You can still submit on behalf of another user. But this is just an example that depending on how complex the request is, like this is for a project request for the GIS team, the data team, there'll be a couple more questions. If you see this little star here, that means it's a required field. Not all of them are. So you would have to fill out all of this before the ticket could be resolved if it has a star, like this one does not. And as you see, I'm not gonna, if you don't fill it all out and you try to hit submit, it will give you an error and says to go back and kind of complete the form before that's done. Are there any other questions? Okay. Ian, is there anything I'm missing or anyone else from IMP that I should show off?
No, I think that was great, Zoe. Thank you.
So I think we'll be having these learning sessions at least a couple more times, but just to go over again what Ian said, we are going live March 1st with this new ticketing system. That means after March 1st, you will no longer be able to create new tickets through email and through our current system of OTRS. You will have to submit it through here or by calling the service desk, as you guys are probably familiar with doing that now. Is there a question?
Chief, you got a question?
I do. So will all the city employees be able to utilize this system?
Yes.
Okay, and will this training be available to all the city employees? I'm looking at it for the Bureau of Police. I'm assuming it's going to be on this portal that we could send them to.
You want me to answer that, Ian, or are you taking that?
Yeah, I can. I think I can answer this in a couple of ways, Chief. So we are recording this session today. We have now a library of several learning sessions here that we'll be able to draw from, as well as some other training materials that we're going to be circulating. We can talk offline about some other opportunities that might be specific to the Bureau. I see that Alexis has her hand up if she wants to jump in at all. But everybody will have access to this portal. Did that answer your question?
It did. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And Chief,
Julia?
we can definitely take it offline, and there's some opportunity to upload it to some of the other training sites that the Bureau uses.
Mhm.
I do want to just touch on some of the technical support team that you have. They will receive a different training, a little bit more in depth for their technical support needs.
Okay, thank you so much.
Julia, do you have a question?
Yeah, yesterday I didn't realize this wasn't starting till March 1st, but I used this to put in a request, and I filled it out, sent it in, and then I got an email back. I guess it was telling me they're not up and running yet, but they got my information that they would take care of it. Is it okay that I did that, or should I put another request in?
I think I'm going to suggest that you put a request in through the normal channel right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just so that we have more than one record of it.
Okay.
I don't want that to get.
I
to get
didn't realize
lost.
it was starting on March 1st, and I apologize, but.
Oh, you didn't do anything wrong. We're
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
thank
totally
you so
fine.
much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Julia. Kelly?
Yeah, so I see on this page, the hardware requests, mobile phone requests, new employee requests. Are those items still only going to be available to the department's liaison, or will all employees have access to those requests?
I'm going to answer this
That's a
briefly,
great-
and then Zoe, go ahead.
No, that's a great question. There are certain forms on here that are liaison only forms. So the new employee request is one of them. As you see for the new employee request, there will be a little thing up here that says you must be a liaison and able to complete this form. So people will be able to get to this screen, but they won't be able to go further unless you are. I'm a tester, so I do have full control, but they wouldn't be able to fill in this information.
Okay, thank you.
And I
we-
do believe that there is a page document that we are creating that's going to be specifically for liaisons, letting them know this.
Do we need to fill out a form for liaisons? Does somebody need to send something to a department to make sure that you have a liaison for your department? Anything, or are you already aware of that group?
I think in general, we're already aware of that group, but we'll be double and triple checking that before the system gets up and running.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Michelle, I'll be sending out an email today.
Okay.
For confirmation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Both excellent questions. Thank you for that.
Are there any other questions? Okay, if not, we are going to hold a couple more training sessions. Like I said, if you wanted your other team to see this, I think we're doing the exact same time, I think 10 a.m. for the next 4 Thursdays. So 10th, 17th, 24th, 3rd for the one right after we go live. There'll be additional emails and follow-ups for that though. So don't worry, you'll get a lot more information and reminders.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
you.
everyone.
Thanks, folks.
Take care. Be safe.
Thank you.
And I just wanted, as you go off, that to watch for all users, because there'll be some with tips in the all users. There'll be tip sheets and things. So keep your eyes on those too.
Good to hear. Thank you.